Welcome back, everybody, to the BRUBBLE podcast, where we're back for another year of content. And what better way to kick it off than institutional logos and emblems, as they are officially called. So my name's Simon. I'm joined here by my good friend, Dan. How are you today, Dan?
Simon, great to see you. Doing very well. You know, we're here after a long day of work, but for the love of the game, for the love of podcasting, we are in the studio and we're pumping out more content.
There's nothing better than a Tuesday night podcast.
That's what I always say. But had a nice Christmas, New Year. Kind of things are back in the rhythm now. Brussels is nice and rainy. We're kind of back on an even keel, so to speak. And it just feels like the perfect time to pick this back up.
Do you feel like Brussels is the right location to do a podcast on international institution logos? Because that's going to be the theme today here. Because I've collected 30-something, institutional logos of random international organizations, the biggest ones. And we're going to look at them, see it from a design standpoint, from, how it makes us feel, how it makes us emote, how much it fits the mission of that organization. Which one is the best? So are we in the right place to do this?
We're in one of the best places.
Right.
If I'm are we surrounded by lots of these organizations? Yes. Mm-hmm. It's like here, Geneva, New York, Paris maybe. Yeah. But it's in the top 5. Now, you could also argue maybe we're in too deep.
Right.
To get a neutral perspective, are we going to have bias towards ones that are actually based in Brussels, for example?
Or hatred is my fear. Because
also possible.
Brussels isn't known as the most exciting place. And sometimes, as preparing this list, I feel like it might have been reflected in the logos. One other thing I want to mention before we get into this. What makes a good logo, in your opinion? Or emblem? Apologies to those emblem enthusiasts out there.
Ooh, yeah, it's a good question. I think uniqueness definitely helps. Like a good, like something that stands out from the crowd. Like, unfortunately, having the letters isn't going to do it, Yeah. Color scheme is important too, because a lot of these places use the same color scheme. I guess we're going to see a lot of blue this evening.
Maybe. I'm not going to spoil any surprises.
So I think, something kind of is a bit, stands out too in terms of color. Those would be the two main things. You're probably going to say something like, is it easy to draw? Because you're obsessed with that.
My random criteria for this is, could I put it on a t-shirt and wear it with style?
Oh, that's it. The t-shirt is the other criteria. Yeah. Yes, I forgot about that one, yeah.
Because I remember a few years ago, there was this phase where all the teenagers were wearing, I was a teenager, somewhat of a teenager back then. They were all wearing NASA themed sweaters. And I'm like, that works because first off, NASA's one of the cooler organizations.
True.
And secondly, their logo kind of, embodies something, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Spirit of adventure and American exceptionalism.
But that's kind of my rough criteria. If I'm not feeling like it fits the purpose, if it fits the purpose, if it doesn't fit the mission, then I'm gonna go with the sweater criteria.
Okay. Yeah. This is the perfect combination. So the drawing meets the t-shirts, and we have international logos. So we want to get started then.
Yeah, let's head into
launch into the fun.
For those listening, because you can listen via podcast or watch on YouTube. If you watch on YouTube, you can see our live reactions, all the logos and stuff. But anyways, we'll kind of read out a quick description of each logo, and we're pitting them 2 by 2, randomly selected via an Excel formula, and then we'll just debate it out. Yeah. And the first matchup is quite a fearsome one. The protector of the North Atlantic, NATO, with their flag-like logo with the little compass in there and the blue background, iconic, some would say, against the World Wildlife Fund's Panda. Ready for a good match of wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. This is it's 2 heavyweights.
Yeah,
as you said. NATO. It's pretty generic. It looks like it could be for an outdoor clothing company as well.
True. My thing with the NATO logo that always bothered me, partially because of my own ignorance. For the longest time, I thought, it says NATO, and then under it says OTAN for the French spelling. I thought it was a mirror reflection of NATO for the longest time. And I thought that was a cool stylistic choice until I realized the French existed.
As a Canadian, that is embarrassing. Yeah, Organisation du traité de l'Atlantique du Nord.
Yeah, something like that.
De le traité. No, it's du traité. Anyway, let's not dwell on the
I have a few fun facts when I could find them. Not every organization went out of their way to put, the history of their logo on their websites and stuff. But for NATO, the four-pointed star, it's a compass in the middle, which, according to a speech I read, is it's to keep us on the right road, which I thought was almost patronizing, but fair enough. And then the circle that surrounds the compass, it symbolizes the unity binding us together. And then the blue background is the Atlantic Ocean, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, and two different shades of blue at least. Actually, it's a little bit Microsoft, just with a compass overlaid on it, in terms of the kind of four squares like that. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a fine logo. I think it could be a bit more creative, but it has its own emblem, and I like that.
Yeah.
It's points.
Yeah.
However, the World Wildlife Fund. Do you want to talk about the panda?
Come on. It's a panda, but also it's like kind of an abstract panda, which I enjoy, like a panda painted by Monet. Like it's just it's like a Rorschach test. That's what it is. Where you got little kind of splodges of black. You don't really have like lines, and those splodges of black create the outline of the panda. So I'm a fan.
I guess so. I always thought it was a nice, this buff little panda, brings to mind wrestling for some reason. No idea why.
Yeah, legally we have no idea why. It's and like the panda's got a slightly dopey expression on its face, I think.
I mean, all pandas do, to be honest.
That's
no offense to species. Not to upset Singer, I'm not engaging in speciesism in here. But it's based on a real panda.
Oh, okay.
On Chi-Chi, a panda that lived in the London Zoo in 1961.
It's like the way the word jumbo comes from a real elephant.
True.
Who's also in a zoo. I think it might be London Zoo.
But I guess the World Wildlife Fund wouldn't have the same significance. It was called the Chi-Chi Fund.
Yeah, no, that is for sure.
Chai, apologies.
Yeah. Well, that makes it even better.
And I have one fun tangent, and I try to save these for later on in the podcast, but sometimes they end up a bit earlier. So this logo was designed by Sir Peter Scott, a British naturalist and painter, who happened to be the only child of Antarctic explorer Robert Falcon Scott. Which is pretty cool, though.
That is a good family link.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He also won a bronze medal for sailing in the 1936 Olympics, which I think he could just walk onto a boat. He didn't seem particularly athletic.
People lived lives back then.
I know.
People just did all different stuff. So, respect to him.
And when he was 2 years old, his father actually passed away. So, Robert Scott, I can't...
Spoiler.
Yeah, they tend to pass away. And he the last letter he left to his wife contained this sentence: "Make the boy interested in natural history if you can. It is better than games." Which I guess it worked. And then we got this beautiful logo out of it.
Yeah, there we go.
And the other one, which I feel obligated to include as a fan of cryptids and mythological creatures, Mr. Peter Scott, Sir Peter Scott, also proposed a scientific name for the Loch Ness Monster. And in 1962, he co-founded the Loch Ness Phenomena Investigation Bureau.
Okay. So, he kind of went natural history and kind of just kept going into cryptozoology.
Yeah, almost supernatural history, if you will.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think it takes anything away from the WWF logo. And for me, I think that's the winner.
I think so. I think WWF is going to be a strong contender. Now, obviously, we can discuss the merits of the panda later on as an animal, but for now, it's better than a compass.
True.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Interpol with their kind of elaborate little, sword in a globe with, some text and the leaves around it, the olive branches.
That's good.
Versus the Council. Oh, let me check my notes so I don't screw this up. The Council of the EU.
Yes. I actually never really kind of seen the Interpol logo before. It is very cool. Yeah, so you have like the globe with a crappy projection. You have the olive, like the laurel around it. Mm-hmm. Then you have a sword running through it, which is pretty badass. And you have the scales either side, obviously for justice.
The sword symbolizes police action, which I thought was a nice touch.
Isn't that very indicative of what they perceive the police's role to be to the community as like perpetrating violence?
Yeah. I'm just glad it's not a handgun, but I guess Interpol doesn't deal with that.
Yeah, the role of the police community should not be represented by a sword, I don't think. But, I guess Interpol is dealing with, like, higher level stuff.
Yeah.
Your drug dealers and gun runners and all that jazz.
And those are best taken down with the sword.
Yeah, the sword, of course. It's standard issue. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's
Yeah.
cool. It's I believe that you no, ignore me. Wrong logo. I'm getting these logos mixed up. But yeah, the next logo, Council of the EU, with its nice vase.
I was thinking more of a barrel. That's what I was thinking. Because it's kind of got, like, it's kind of puffed out a bit in the middle, and it's got all the bands on it, so,
But
yeah.
it's actually, you know what it actually is, right? Because the Commission and the Parliament are of the buildings, right?
Yes.
This is also of the building of the Council of the EU, but the inner little egg thing they have in the middle.
Okay.
So yeah, it's supposed to symbolize that.
I've been inside the building. Didn't realize that was like a feature of it.
Yeah, it's something. The new one, right? The 2014 one. And then apparently, once they opened a new building, they updated their logo to match the other institutions, which is fine. And they paid 60,000 euros for updating its branding, but they got this logo for free because they just ripped one from the submissions they got.
Public consultations, guys. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. Yeah, like I don't really like the layout of it too, because it's like you have to kind of barrel, and then like jutting out of the bottom right corner is the EU flags. Like the framing of it is a bit weird.
I like the consistency with like the Parliament and Commission logo, but altogether I think they're kind of weak as logos go. And I don't think the building should be the defining factor, identity of the council. Yeah,
and the grey just kind of is like. And yeah, Interpol has more going for it, I think, between the sword and the scales. So I think let's put Interpol through to the next round.
Swift police action moving forward. Let the swords fly.
We've learned from previous episodes, we're not going to talk too much crap now. I think I want to try and be as concise as possible here.
Yes.
For the sake of the listeners and viewers, they don't have to wade through 90 minutes of our crap.
Hey, but who doesn't love random facts about logos?
I actually can't answer that question.
Speaking about two random logos, are you aware of these two?
I'm not aware of the logos. I'm aware of the organizations, but yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm looking at right now.
So the first one is the International Telecommunications Union, a pretty old organization, with this fancy little superhero-looking logo with a big lightning bolt through the middle and a globe, bit to the side. I like it. Good text, good font. The lightning bolt is supposed to represent the. I took the quote down here. It's intended to symbolize the speed of communications equal to that of lightning, which I thought was ambitious.
That is ambitious, but I like the ambition all the same. Yeah,
and this logo with this lightning bolt existed since 1947. I mean, it's been updated a little bit to modernize it, but the old logo looked pretty similar to this, so quite impressive.
Yeah, I can kind of see like that kind of era. Like it's almost like like a superhero, like the Flash or something. So yeah, I'm having a good time visually with this. Yeah. Now the blue is pretty standard.
Yeah, but I don't mind that shade of blue too much.
Yeah.
It works. It works.
Yeah. But now the second one is intriguing.
Yes. You want to describe what it is?
So this is ASEAN, which is the Organization of Southeast Asian States.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
Nations.
So it's also circular. So you have like kind of a blue edge to it, and then it's a red circle. You have ASEAN in blue text, pretty standard. And then you have what I want to say is like a sheaf of wheat.
Close. It's called paddy, and it's 10 paddy stalks, tied in the middle. And that's supposed to, represent, they said to represent the dream of Asian to become, compromising all of Southeast Asia in friendship and unity.
Also, it's rice.
Yeah, I believe
that
so.
makes more sense, actually, yeah. Yeah, see, wheat that was a European perspective. Okay, yeah, so it's like, you've got like a bunch of like yellow lines, and they're kind of like being pushed in the middle. So that's it, yeah.
I never knew their logo looked like this. I knew Asian existed for ages, but I always assumed it was just boring letters.
Me neither. And and I like the idea, because it's like trying to find what unites it. And I think rice is actually a pretty good thing to like. It's like the potato in Europe.
Yes,
it's something. Rice is something that you can unite a lot of different nations.
Yes, the Council of the EU should just took in 10 potatoes.
Exactly.
And that should
missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a hard one. They're both cool in different ways.
There's another fun fact about ASEAN.
Yeah.
Apparently, the colors were chosen to represent the main colors of the state flags of all the Asian member states.
Okay. Yeah, you got a bit of white there, yeah, as well.
White,
So
blue, yellow.
yeah, like I think the flags from that part of the world, yeah.
Which is,
yeah.
I've reviewed all the other logos, and none of them were like, oh, we took these colors from like a combination of all the flags.
Yeah.
So that is a cool idea, although it's a bit of a stretch too. But
That is no, it's cool, yeah. And like also having a bunch of rice on it is cool. Yeah, I don't know the ITU. I do like the kind of retro glamour of it, but yeah, as ASEAN is more interesting visually, I think.
my personal choice would have been the ITU. But if you want to push ASEAN, I'm happy for you to take it.
You know what? You can give me ASEAN, and then I can give you another one down the line.
Fair enough.
You know, that's an EU compromise right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
And
good
then
handshake.
folks.
I will say, I'm not a big fan of this lowercase text here, but we'll discuss that later.
He's going to absolutely rip that apart the next round, guys. Watch out.
Yes. Here's two more nice logos. Are you aware of the top one? Just before I...
I'm not, no.
Well, have you not heard of the Commonwealth of Independent States?
Ah, okay, we're going
So-
back in time.
No, it still exists.
Does this still exist?
Yes.
Oh my god,
Well,
okay.
in name typically, but it's a trade association that not the Soviet Union, that Russia kind of cobbled together of all its former states after the Soviet Union collapsed.
Okay.
So they still exist as like a free trade area. They do stuff, maybe not stuff we approve of, so to say, here in Brussels, but they do things.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Anyways, it's this light blue circle with like a little yellow dot in the middle, which represents the sun, and then 10 beams or 8 beams kind of reaching around it, which is, it's such a, utopian looking logo for a post-Soviet, kind of phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
I would not associate with CIS in a million years. Or
No,
CIS,
no.
as they probably wouldn't like to be called. But
No, they don't call it cis, yeah. For me, it kind of looks like the logo for like the evil company from a sci-fi movie.
right.
That's what I'm going for.
They are the evil organization.
We're not making any moral judgments here. Good, evil, like it's all the same. Evil though. It's definitely something.
I mean, it's a much bigger step up from their initial attempt at it. For the first 3 or 4 years they're existing, they didn't have a logo, and whenever they ran an event, they just put in Times New Roman CIS on the flag, and that was it, which is a bit pathetic.
That is a little bit, yeah.
But the next one, it's up against the World Health Organization, which is a classy one. It's basically the UN logo, but on the front is a staff with a snake wrapped around it, which symbolizes the Greek god Asclepios.
Yes, the catechist, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Mm.
Are you aware of his mythology?
No, actually. I'm trying to rack my brains, but you know what? Yeah, I'm not gonna even try to bullshit you. So go ahead.
Asclepios, he was a guy like a mortal at the time. He was super good at saving lives. He was so good at saving lives that Hades lodged a complaint to Zeus that hey, this guy, he's bad for business here. And Zeus was actually like, I don't want him to be so good to make humans immortal. So he zapped down a lightning bolt and killed Asclepios. So these Greeks didn't take any prisoners.
Yeah, also the absolute arrogance to be like, the Greeks are the only humans in the entire world. It's like, how many people could he actually realistically save per day, like in his little corner of Greece? I mean,
Hades noticed.
Yeah.
So it was always making an impact.
Hades and Zeus are clearly, monitoring their own little area here, but God, it's very self-centered.
It's like, there's a blip in my, statistics of numbers coming in here.
Yeah. It's like that drug they used to revive patients who've overdosed, So it's like the magic drug.
Right.
Just stick it up their nose and voila, Escabilis.
Yes.
Just do magic things.
Yeah. I think all in all, it's an apt logo for the World Health Organization. It speaks a bit more. I like having a bit of mythology, a bit of mythos behind a logo.
Yeah.
I will say, not a fan of the snake, but
I think it's cool. Yeah.
Snakes normally inspire death, not life. But
I think the snake and the staff is like a well-known medical symbol.
Yeah.
Like it is a little bit odd compared to what we usually think of snakes, but for me personally, I go for the WHO.
yeah, I'll go there. If you were passionate about the CIS, I would have probably taken that too, because it's just it is very utopian looking. I kind of like it.
It's not doing it for me now.
Yay.
Here
Next
we go.
up, we have the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, versus Médecins Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders for our bilingually impaired folks listening, which is not me.
No, you man, you're fluent, so.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, the International Atomic Agency, it has those, classic UN, laurels on the side. In the middle, they have this elaborate little atom, which is pretty neat, right?
Yeah, what kind of atom is it supposed to be?
Fun. I'm glad you asked. So they created this logo in 1957. I did my research here.
I'm teeing you up right now.
Yes. So they originally created with 3 atoms in a circle, which I guess visually worked a bit better because this one is a bit busy. But then again,
it is, yeah.
Atoms are and whatever. But then some genius noticed a year later, hey, that's lithium. You know what they use lithium for?
Treating depression.
Nope, hydrogen bombs.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, well, in that case, let's just add an extra atom to it, and they made it beryllium.
I don't know what the hell people use beryllium for. So
I believe it is for chemical gas attacks, which I think is something like that. No joke.
It's slightly better than the H-bomb, guys. Let's just go with that.
If they added one more, they would have got a boron, and that's the most boring element out there. So they were so close.
Yeah, it definitely is busy. I can see that. Yeah, I can see how it started off with 3 rings and then it went to 4.
And it was done almost overnight because they realized.
Yeah. Okay.
But I like it. It's really good.
Yeah.
It does speak about atomic energy, and I like that.
Yeah, the laurels, to be honest, though, are not doing anything for me. I think that the laurels are kind of overdoing it a little bit.
I do, but I think it does symbolize it as part of UN, complex.
Yeah,
and I think it's a better marker than having an EU flag pasted at the bottom that the European institutions.
True. Yeah, the EU flag does kind of suck there. Yeah. But no, it's still good, and it is kind of unique.
Yeah.
I got Les Médecins next.
Yes. So this is how would you describe this one?
So we've got like the outline of a figure, but it's like the top half, it's like red on white, and the bottom half is white on red. So but it's kind of like looks like it's kind of just been done like in a marker, kind of like crudely. And almost kind of like a child drew it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a running person, which is supposed to represent the urgency and dynamism of their work.
Okay, it's a running person, but their arms are like stretched out, just either side. It doesn't really look very urgent to me. But okay, yeah, interesting.
I don't like this one. I don't like the italic font. I don't like the all caps in the font. I don't like the color choice. I'm not a big fan of the person. I think that's due for a redesign.
Wait. So in the ASEAN, you don't like all the small letters, and now here you don't like all the big letters. Do you like a contrast?
Okay. If it was MSF in like a cool little way, it's fine, but it's a bit too...
Yeah, no, I think it is a lot of letters for a logo. And even just say Médecins Sans Frontières, it's just, it's a bit much.
Yeah. And if you compare it to IAEA, they just put it bottom, it looks official. It's like, that's a nuclear energy agency. You don't mess with those guys.
Yeah, true. No, I agree. I think, the Atomic Energy one is better than, even though I don't think it's going to win, I think it is better than MSF.
I read this blog, which I might have taken the backstory from, to credit the guy. It was Alex Wellerstein. He wrote some blog on this, claiming it's the best organization logo out there. So shout out to him if he happens to listen. If you're amongst our big viewer base. Here's a nice matchup. SAARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. You definitely didn't blank on the name there.
Okay.
Versus UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization.
That one I did know. SAARC is... I'm visually intrigued. I don't really know what I'm looking at. It's kind of like... it kind of looks like a flower in a way. Yes. And it's kind of like... it got like, 7 buds? So I guess there's, 7 members?
Good. Yeah. You're pulling it together. It's supposed to be a stylized depiction of a lotus flower.
Oh, lotus. Okay.
With 8 petals. I do realize there's only 7 in this picture, so I have no idea what's going on here. I guess there's one. I swear the official site said 8. So each representing one of the members of SAARC.
Okay,
which I think is pretty cool. It symbolizes the peace, harmony, and prosperity of the region.
Yeah, I can kind of squint at it. It kind of looks like almost like Cthulhu as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they are headquartered in Nepal, so...
Oh, okay, interesting.
Which I didn't know.
I would have thought it'd be India, but that's cool. That's
neutral
cool.
ground, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly slightly enchanting to look at.
And it's definitely different than the rest. Because I didn't
Yeah.
try to go for every UN organization because some of them get really boring.
Oh yeah, repetitive, yeah, and it's a nice gold color as well.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bit different. I do like how it breaks it up.
Yeah. And
UNESCO though, it's the classic, library look, the Greek architecture with UNESCO as the pillars. I think this was a great idea to do it like this, and it's been almost unchanged since it was created in 1952 by Robert Stanley, if ChatGPT was correct.
Thanks, Robert Stanley.
Yes.
ChatGPT. Yeah, I didn't know this is actually the logo of UNESCO, but
You didn't?
no, I did not notice. Yeah, or maybe I have probably have seen it, but just
Yeah.
didn't register it. Yeah, I like it. It's very simple. John, I'm kind of surprised it goes back that far. It looks like more like a modern rebrand.
I
to be
think they
honest.
cleaned up the lines a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed when they do modern rebrands, they tend to, I guess they use publisher to create instead of some guy's like notebook or something like that.
Yeah.
So it is cleaned up a little bit, but it's very similar to what it used to be.
Okay, yeah.
I think it ties in really well with the theme.
does,
Educational,
yeah.
science culture, albeit very Western culture.
Well, yeah, the laurels is the same as well. Like it's all this kind of Greek stuff.
Yeah.
Like it really does kind of like hark back to that, which is a little bit hard to say to other countries like in South Asia that they're representing the world, and you're like, okay, but you're just you're just using all the symbology of Greece, but fine, whatever.
You know what UNESCO needs? A few lotus buds.
Exactly, yeah. It's good, but it leaves me a little bit cold.
Does it?
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think SAARC is a bit more unique in the context of this list.
Yeah. Like SAARC looks like it was the vision of an artist, whereas UNESCO looks like it was like a graphic designer.
Yeah.
And even though it was over 70 years ago, it kind of looks like it's just like a cool kind of modern rebrand. Whereas like SAARC, I think is just like more interesting and also kind of harder to decipher. Maybe that's why I like it more.
Yeah, it doesn't strike you immediately, but then again, I'm not used to seeing lotus flowers every day.
Yeah.
Maybe if I was from the region, I think it would go better. And compared to other regional logos, which we might get to, this one I think it encompasses something very symbolic about the region pretty well. So
So I think SAARC. You know what?
Let's
I think
do it.
let's do that. Yeah. You know what? There's so many other UN logos in this. UNESCO. You'll be fine.
Speaking of great logos of ethical corporations, did you know FIFA counts as an international institution? According to the Wikipedia definition of an international institution.
According to the International Wikipedia Association, yes.
The Fédération Internationale de Football Association. Like I said, bilingual all the way. Their logo is kind of boring though. It's the simple FIFA in letters. Their key stylized element is the slants on the Fs.
Yeah, because they're all crooked.
Yeah, like certain organizations.
Yeah. Like it's a bit disappointing because you think like they can be quite creative. Like you think of like say like logos for like World Cups or like European Championships or any regional tournament. Like they do some interesting things and they could have done a lot more.
In their defense, and not that I'm going to defend FIFA too hard. They do have their own logos for their their own event run. So like let's say they're running a World Cup or something, they have their own logo for that. And I guess having a small FIFA logo, not to take away from the artistry of the host nation, makes sense. However, they changed it to this from something that had like a soccer ball in it. And it seems to be if you're doing a football association, you need a football in it, right?
Yes, I just got a flashback to that logo.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like FIFA 2000 and on the PlayStation 1. I'm like, oh yes, I do remember that logo. Yeah, that was way better. Okay, so sorry. FIFA.
Well, we haven't even talked about
We haven't talked about the other one, but you're all going to lose FIFA. Even though the other one is also pretty underwhelming.
Well, the World Trade Organization, it has a football in it.
It's a ball, yeah.
Yeah, it's a globe made out of 6 stripes, which represent the swirls of international trade.
Yes, and red, blue, and green.
Yeah. No
primary
meaning.
colors.
No meaning.
Primary colors.
This one has an interesting story though, which I didn't know. So they originally had an old WTO logo.
Yeah.
And then they had a summit, the first ministerial conference in 1996 in Singapore. And the government of Singapore is like, we're going to design a logo for, this summit. And they did. They came up with this. And then afterwards, they were like, hey, yo, WTO, do you want to take this on as your official logo? And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? So I thought that was kind of funny.
That is interesting.
They just elevated like they made such a good logo for a single one-off ministerial conference. They were like, let's take it.
Did Singapore charge a fee?
I don't know. They had some Singaporean design agency created. They probably got a nice fee for that.
Yeah. But still, like, yeah, I think that agency was severely underpaid as it turned out.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
I respected it.
It was also my girlfriend's choice to go through, I believe. So
Okay. Well,
we'll do her justice here.
Hannah has spoken.
Yes. Okay. Then again, FIFA is I didn't think it was gonna put up that big of a fight. So almost halfway through the list, the last one on the first side, we have the OSCE, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, versus the OG, the big daddy, the United Nations.
Yeah. OSCE, it's, 4 white letters on a blue background. Each letter's in its own little box. And yes, it does look as boring as it sounds.
And they will sue me for this. Because apparently, I'm not allowed to use their logo. I'm not allowed to use it in the first place because I'm not authorized, but I'm not using it for events. But anyways, I cut off their name, and what their official logo is, it's OSCE plus their name spelled out in the corner. And then for visual design purposes, it would be this tiny, in the screen.
Gosh.
So I just cropped that out there. So
Okay, so you're avoiding a lawsuit, and you're also improving the logo,
yeah,
as it turns out.
yeah, I'd like to think so. I do think that this logo reminds me of, in 2012 when they had the Huawei phones with the Android backgrounds and the calendar that flipped over pet pages.
I do not know what you're talking about, no.
How they used to have the calendars and it was pages that. Anyway, I hope somebody picks up.
Yeah,
on this reference.
honestly, you're losing me here, unfortunately.
Each of their squares reminds me of the clock look on that phone interface.
Yeah.
But anyways.
That was just you getting a flashback to your teenage years there.
I never had that one, but whatever.
It's just boring, honestly. There's so many companies that have similar logos that are in the world, really. The UN, honestly, shout out to the UN's bizarre projection. I really gotta say it's great.
As a MUFL, equidistant projection. Do you know why it was chosen? Beyond the fact they believe in the flat Earth.
Why was it chosen? That's a good question.
Think creatively. There's a reason behind this, or a reason I choose to believe based on internet sources.
Is it because it kind of puts each continent like a similar size?
Close. So the real reason is it's related to map projection. So most maps, when you put a map on an image, it's centered on a certain country.
Yeah.
So instead of centering on any country, this map projection centers on the North Pole.
Oh,
so it's a bit
yeah.
equal in that sense.
Yeah.
So each country
gets
gets...
as well.
Because it does kind of elongate, I think, some of the things at the bottom a bit.
Oh, Australia is looking crazy big. Yeah.
But beyond that, it is kind of more equal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was kind of neat. It was a nice little extra touch by the guys who designed it. It turned out to be Oliver Lundquist. Guess who he was employed by?
Dag Hammarskjöld?
Nope. By the OSS, which later turned into the CIA.
Oh, okay.
Apparently they got the contract to design the UN logo.
Yeah.
Which does not help the conspiracy theorists. I'm going to tell you.
Plenty of design agencies out there, guys, that you could have contacted, but no, you have to get the CIA to do it.
I mean, this guy, though, to give him credit, he was an architect and pretty good designer. He also designed a Q-tip box.
Oh,
so
okay.
If you're an
he's got an eclectic CV. That's an impressive portfolio he has.
Yeah,
he can do it all. I mean, UN. Again, it's good. It's good. The projection is a bit wacky.
I like it. It's a bit different. I like the reason behind it for the projection.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's kind of universalist kind of.
What I don't like is the target on it.
True. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of like a radar kind of style. But yeah. No, OSCE, step up your game like FIFA. Come on, Then again, I don't think FIFA needs to waste any more money on designing a new logo. So disregard that. Now we'll move on to the second half of the bracket.
They should just grab the old logo back. Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's an idea too. But yeah, I think we're doing better time management.
Yeah,
I think
the logos are easier to talk about in a sense.
That is true.
And plus, I didn't have as many wacky,
tales.
Yeah, I had a few, but
a few.
But that's what people come for.
I have no idea what I'm looking at here for these two.
Oh, you should describe the first one.
So the first one is a letter C, except it's made up of like 20 individual lines going at C shape, and they're kind of like elongated diamonds rather than like straight lines. And then in the middle, you have a globe, but kind of like a globe that like it would be like the browser button on a phone, you know, like on an Android, like on my phone.
Yes.
That's what it is. So there we go.
And if I were to tell you that this was from the Coalition to Prevent Landmine Usage, and this was a shrapnel exploding from a grenade, would you believe me?
I would, and I would be upset if you just lied to me.
I did. It's from the Commonwealth.
Damn, he nearly got me as well.
It does look a bit like a grenade when I see it.
Yeah, true, actually, yeah.
Technically, I cropped out the name Commonwealth from the side, but that's what the C is for. I'm super disappointed. They have 34 of these little diamonds. There are 52 member states in the Commonwealth.
You
The
see,
34 does not mean anything.
no, this is the thing, yeah, when you try and do this kind of number-based, and then, like, the numbers are fluctuating.
Yeah.
It's like the way United States clearly don't want to let Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. be states because the 50 stars are perfect. And they don't want to mess with it. So,
True.
yeah. Okay, so it's an arbitrary number of diamonds. That is a little bit upsetting. God, it's almost hard to look at, to be honest.
Oh, sorry, 56 member states. Sorry, I'm sure some will leave eventually.
A couple have left.
Is Ireland the Commonwealth, or am I upsetting colonial members?
That's very rude of you.
Okay, I don't know.
Very, very rude of you to ask. No. Well, it was bullying from a Canadian Prime Minister, which made us leave, so yeah.
Which Prime Minister was this?
It was Mackenzie King.
Not Lester B. Pearson, who
No, it wasn't.
designed the next logo?
Damn, that's a good segue.
Well, he okay, to be honest, he didn't design this one. He designed a different version which got rejected.
He designed the logo for Dallas Cowboys? That's
Nope.
insane.
Do you know whose organization this is?
Other than Dallas Cowboys, no, I don't.
What if I told you it was defunct?
I still don't know.
The League of Nations.
Oh, okay.
It was their non-official emblem.
Right.
It gives me that Captain America vibes, you know, from like the 30s.
Yeah. So it kind of like a Texaco logo as well. A little bit. So you have a blue star inside of a larger white star, and then the white star, there's like a blue pentagon that it sits within. So there's kind of 3 layers to this logo.
To give some fun context, apparently the star symbolizes Earth's 5 continents, which I think they miscounted. I think there's 7 now.
Depends who you ask, yeah.
And it also represents the Earth's 5 races. 5 races, which I see why this is from the phrase.
Oh no, that is. Did it have to explain it? Could it just had a nice star? Oh no, that's so bad.
You know how they were back then.
Oh, they were like that, weren't they? Yeah. Should I even ask what the 5 races were?
I wanted to look it up, but I just assumed it was like the big 5. They're like, oh, well, the Russians, the Chinese, the Americans. And
Also, if you looked up on Google, you might start getting some weird things suggested by the algorithm. So, what are the 5 races?
All I know is that when like the sources I read this from, all had in the quotation marks 5 races, and you know that's a terrible sign when even the history book is
the 5
mocking.
races with their powers combined.
True.
That makes it so. It's a better logo than a Commonwealth, but God, that's such a bad story behind it.
I mean, I guess I'm not gonna defend that.
Please don't. Yeah. Let's send it through because it's a better logo.
Sure.
But we might have to have a conversation later about it.
We'll see how long this relic of the past can serve.
Oh Jesus!
But it's also the only existing international institution we still have on the list.
Oh, interesting. I thought there might be a couple more in here.
I mean, they tend not to go away.
Yeah, they kind of just become zombified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to be like the Secretary General of a zombified international institution. That'd be kind of fun, no?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah.
So we have next here the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. As it like to be called, no?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Do you want to describe their logo?
So you have this is wheat in the middle, and then you have like almost like rays of light shining out from like each bit of the wheat.
You're making it sound way too.
And then you have like F, A, and O, kind of like left, top, right, and then you have the logo Fiat Panis,
which
means in exchange for bread.
Ooh, your Latin's not bad.
Yeah, the value of bread or something like that.
Let there be bread.
Let there be bread. Okay, yeah, because I was thinking like fiat currency.
I assume of fiat as cars. Let there, I assume, is move, go.
Yeah,
Go get bread.
sure.
Is how I would have put it together.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Fiat Panis was... I didn't know it was the car my grandfather drove.
Was it actually?
No.
Oh.
It was a Ford Fiesta, in case you're wondering.
I didn't know they existed that long. Anyways, yeah, it's a light bluish color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Italian, I realized, because the FAO is headquartered in Rome.
True.
It has the Latin logo. It's designed by an Italian to give him some credit. What was his name again? Giovanni Pintori in 1948.
Good name. Yeah, no, it's cool. I like it. Yeah, and I like the logo as well. It's like let there be bread.
Yeah,
we should say it more often.
I mean, we're not judging logos. Maybe we'll do that in a future episode.
Yeah. And then the next one, just whatever.
It's the European Commission. This stylized depiction of Berlaymont, although stylized is a stretch to say.
We already crapped on Burley-Mont in the last episode.
Hey, just clean up the asbestos problem. That's all I say.
Yeah, it's not that hard, guys. The EU has some crap logos. Wow, really bad.
Well, don't say that, because your tax dollars paid for this. In the same article I read in the Politico in 2014, when they said the Council of the EU, they got that logo for €0. Guess how much the European Commission paid for this logo?
80 grand.
Oh no, 135,000.
Oh, wait, no. No, because my tax pays for this, that makes it all the more justified that I say it's crap.
I guess so, yeah.
If I was working in the commission and not paying any tax, then whatever. But come on, that's awful.
Yeah.
Like they gotta jam the EU flag and everything. It's just why?
The thing that I don't like about it is that the Berlaymont, it means nothing to most people on the planet. Like I could show this, I could show the FAO.
Neither does the European Commission.
Yeah, but I could show the food and the FAO logo, the Food and Agriculture Organization, to a random kid in Denmark, right? And they'd be like, "Oh, grain, something to do with food,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I showed this, they're like, "Is this a river? Is this like a bridge opening?" It's not clear, in my opinion.
Yeah. Basically, what we're saying is that the FAO goes through.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying right now.
It does look like it would make a great. You know how the old Mercedes had the Mercedes on the
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, and the Fiat Panis, it already works. It doesn't even need to change the name. Fiat, come on, step up, make a car called Fiat Panis.
Imagine working at the FAO and getting a free Fiat. Okay. Next we have the World Bank versus the Council of Europe, not to be confused with the Council of the EU.
Yes, common misconception, commonly confused. So the World Bank firstly, again, it's just like another globe, and it kind of starts off as black, and then as you move up to the top right, it kind of becomes blue, and there's like a bit of a J.J. Abrams kind of lens flare going on.
Do you remember the old logo? It was just
no.
It was not 3D. It was just a black, multilateral sphere.
Okay, right.
Pretty iconic. This is a nice update, but
yeah, but it's like
it seems very movie-esque.
Yeah. I can see that. It's not doing much for me, is it? It's just it's just very generic. Like that could be for anything global. Like it didn't include anything money related, for example.
Yeah.
A few coins or something. I don't know.
I would have liked something more bank related.
Yeah. Exactly,
Safety, security. You want to impose those,
big vault.
pillars.
Yeah. Missed opportunity in my opinion.
Yeah.
Council of Europe. Fun fact I do know, unless you want to say it.
I know nothing about this logo beyond the old one.
Well, the Council of Europe was the one that came up with the 12 stars originally.
Ah, right, yeah.
Yeah, so the EU is obviously more famous for having this, but the Council of Europe, which is the human rights organization based in Strasbourg, came up with this back in the 50s, and then at some point the EU robbed the logo and is now way more famous for having the 12 gold stars. And the Council of Europe always gets confused, and people think it's part of the EU setup, and so they just live a hard life. The Council of Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you recall their old logo, which was a bit more like an eye, and then had the stars in the middle?
Okay.
I didn't like it much. It was a bit creepy.
Yeah.
This one, it's basically an EU flag, but like a Internet Explorer E that's white through the middle.
Yeah.
Which I don't like either, to be honest.
No, it's like two logos that are just kind of being overlaid on top of each other, and it's just like pick one.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they can't pick the gold stars because that's
They
the
should do
unit.
it. They should get back there.
Well, no, I've been there to the Council of Europe, and they have the flag outside, like just the regular gold stars one. But yeah, neither of these are very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Council of Europe. Just I don't know.
World Bank is a bit more cinematic. We don't have that many cinematic looking logos. When I think of the World Bank, I think of guys in like black suits, going to black buildings, and that fits it a bit more. Council of Europe, I guess this does look something for a library, and I assume they're like more of a library.
Well, you gave me ASEAN earlier, right? So I can give you the World Bank.
Yeah, you're making me blow my wild card in the World Bank, aren't I?
Yeah. See, strategic.
And my terrible cropping job up there, longer name.
The Bank of the World.
Next, we have the ICC, the International Criminal Court, which is the scales of justice surrounded by the UN reefs, versus the International Monetary Fund.
Okay, yeah. So the ICC, it's like Interpol, but they only kind of made the first two parts of it. So you just have the scales and the laurel.
True.
You don't have the sword or the globe.
I mean,
or the letters.
They're close together. They're both in The Hague, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just like the ICC one. It just seems like a lazier version of the Interpol one.
This reminds me of what you could do in clip art in my PowerPoint.
Exactly.
I could do this on my own.
Anyone could do that in about 5 minutes, and that probably cost like €60,000
True.
to design as well. Is the shocking thing.
But I mean, the scales of justice, it's fine. It's a good representation. It's a physical, like I said, you could put it on a sweater.
But Lady Justice, the blindfolds. I love the dram of that at courthouse.
True.
Not incorporated.
But Lady Justice would be hard to draw. I don't know.
Drawing the planet Earth and all little countries, that's hard. Come on, and how many logos have to have a bloody globe on it?
For the International Monetary Fund, like to give them credit, they did say on their official brand guidelines, which I read through in preparation for this podcast.
God bless you, Simon.
I know.
I just show up and just talk shit, and you have to do that instead.
They had if you're making this logo super tiny and it's too hard to catch all the details, just put IMF instead. So
I can see why. Yeah, so you have international on top, monetary fund at the bottom, and like kind of a blue shield. So very different from the others. So they do have the planet, but they have like a heads and tails kind of thing. Yeah. So they're kind of showing either side. So like that boat kind of get like a proper look in, and then you have
except New Zealand, who is just cut off completely.
Yeah, it's got North Island, New Zealand. Sorry, lads. And then you have the olive branch underneath, which is
it symbolizes peace and prosperity. The interlocking globes symbolize their global reach, which is kind of ominous from the IMF. The shield is signifying protection and security. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, well, the olive branch is a bit confusing. I wouldn't associate the IMF with peace.
I kind of agree. It's a bit of an overreach in my opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of, like in Ireland. If we talk about the IMF, people talk about like the bailout and stuff, and like they came to Dublin and they told us what to do, and it was absolute disgrace and robbed our sovereignty. I don't think anyone would say like, they brought peace.
Yeah, they brought the olive branches.
They're bringing peace. Don't let it get away.
They brought security. They
break
brought
its legs. Yeah, it's confusing thematically, but it is a better logo.
I will say Ireland is quite big on their logo, although they do specify it's not supposed to be a precise map of the world.
Oh yeah, well thank you for making that clear, IMF. Yeah, I think it's a better logo. They put more effort into it. Yeah, Interpol is lazy.
Come on, it's not Interpol, it's ICC.
Oh sorry, ICC is lazy. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll be pushover on this one. To be honest, they're both kind of weak logos. So
yeah, exactly. Like we could have done rock paper scissors, but it's fine. Oh, now we're talking. Now we got a big boy here now coming to play.
Now we have the OECD, the Organization for. I always want to say it's Organization for Economic Complexity. It doesn't mean that. It's for Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development.
Yes.
And then we have the OAS. Which is the
Organization of American States.
Yes, American States, not American States. Yes, American something. Apologies, I forgot to take a note of the name. It's American States. It's American States. Second line of my notes. Apologies.
It's confusing name because it's the Organization of American States is also United States of America.
Yes.
Think about it.
They claim to be the oldest regional organization.
I've heard that. Yeah.
1890. Which is not that old actually.
Yeah, but I guess these organizations were not really a thing like back in the
Yeah.
day. It was more like military alliances
Yeah.
and the like. So yeah, OECD. Yeah, looks like someone just knocked it up in a computer in about 10 minutes. So you have like the planet in blue, and you have like a couple of little arrows, green and gray, and then OECD,
Spelled
and
out, yeah.
it's kind of 2007
Yeah.
design.
I mean, they updated it a few times over the course. They never got any better.
No.
It's funny that they chose to center the globe on Asia,
Yeah.
which I think it's always interesting to see where these organizations choose to center on. Ever since
Yeah.
I read the UN thing,
I've not seen a globe center like that.
you just can't miss New Zealand. You
International
know,
organization. It's very important. Yeah, it's like centered on like Tokyo, I guess. Yeah, it's pretty bad, but the OAS is great. It's absolutely
Please describe
it's from
this
a
one.
different time of design. So they decided, let's put every flag on this logo in a circle. So they have like a bunch of like flag poles, and then they have like a little sliver of each flag, with a gap at the top. So I guess if they have another member, I don't know. But yeah, so you basically have like every single flag, which is like a little cutout of it.
35 flags, mind you.
35, and then yeah, you have like the flag poles, and they got little kind of like
Which is
diamond at the
also a
end.
non-equal number, and it looks pretty
Yeah,
equal
yeah.
here. So hats off to designer.
Yeah, that's because they carry subtly like different widths
Yeah.
like for each one. So nah, man, it works. It's
What I don't like about
ludicrous.
this, like I have a Canadian passport. I look for Canada on here. That does not look like a Canadian flag because it's all squished in the little side here.
Yeah, obviously it's just
And
one little
if
snippet
they
of
kept
it.
the proportions proper, it would just be a red bar. But they
Oh,
tried
yeah.
to keep the.
Yeah, they're trying to keep those distinctive parts like each flag. So like yeah, you have like Brazil like the little globe, and
I do
America's got the
wonder-
stars on it. Yeah.
If like France is on here, and you know how they updated their flag recently, right?
Mhm.
Do you think they would have to update this logo as well? Because that's like a.
I think so. I
I
yeah.
hate to be that intern. Just be like, oh wait, there's an issue here. Please update every
Yeah.
single material.
It's a wrong shade of blue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, they've absolutely shot for the moon here.
It's such
and
a
I love
messy
it.
thing, yeah.
Exactly,
I do
yeah.
love it though.
Oh yeah, it's a messy bitch, but it's having a great time. Come on, OECD,
Yeah, get
step
out
up
of
your
here.
game. Oh yes.
You know what this reminds me of?
Damn.
A turkey. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's a turkey, man.
Or a peacock, maybe.
Yeah, it just
You know,
reminds me of a turkey.
yeah, it's kind of fanned out like that. Yeah, it's great. Okay, let's keep going, baby. I'm feeling rejuvenated after that.
Here we have two more.
Okay.
The African Union
Okay.
and the International Labor Organization.
Okay. Okay.
So African Union, you want to describe this one?
Yeah, so it's got Africa in the middle, and in gold, and then either side you have not quite laurels, kind of like similar. So I guess it's probably some other plant.
Yeah.
And then kind of leading into like these kind of almost like gold
It's
containers.
supposed to be palm leaves for peace.
Oh, palm leaves. Kind of
Which is
makes
kinda- I
sense.
get it.
Yeah. And then at the bottom you have like 7 red rings. It kind of looks like
It's because they were sponsored by Audi for this part.
that's what I was gonna say. It looks a lot like the Audi logo.
Yeah.
Those are red. So yeah, like gold and green will be the main colors.
The 7 rings at the bottom, they're supposed to represent African solidarity and bloodshed for liberation.
Ooh, right. Yeah.
The gold color choice is supposed to represent Africa's wealth and bright future.
Yes, makes sense.
And then they have 2 circles around it, which you kind of missed. So the golden
true, yeah.
circle, that's the wealth and bright future, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
The green circle is supposed to be for Africa's hopes and aspirations, which I think is adding a lot to some random visual elements they put on.
Oh yeah, well you always have to, yeah.
And then the golden map is supposed to, it's without boundaries to signify unity. My question is, Morocco's on here. They're not part of the African Union.
Oh my god, yeah.
And
That's right.
they do have some spludges here of like little like island stuff, right?
Yeah, Madagascar, Comoros.
Yeah, but are they all on there? I think they are, but I could be wrong.
Where is Morocco's northwest, right?
Yeah, it's here, this chunk here, Or no, sorry, this chunk. Anyway, they dramatically are not part of the African Union. So African unity, are you really representing it on this logo?
Okay, right. Wait, so but is that chunk there? That chunk at the top? Is that it?
Yeah, this it's supposed to be here.
Oh, that
And
bit.
that's
Okay.
it is there. That's why I'm like I think
Okay.
if you really want to be accurate, it shouldn't be there, you know?
Oh, right. Okay, so it is on the map, but like, yeah. Nah, that'll be confusing though. It's like when they do like things like the map of like the UK,
Yeah.
and then Ireland is just like cut out, or saying the weather forecast, you're just like the rest of them just doesn't exist. It's just Northern Ireland, and vice versa. But
Yeah, but I think it's
yeah.
kind of not hypocritical. I guess they have their own regional complexities and differences of opinion. But I
that's
think
saying
it's kind of
something, yeah.
funny that they have the full map and it's African unity. Well, the fact that one of
Yeah.
them is very explicitly not in the African Union.
Yeah.
Next, we have another one, the Laurel Leaf, the International Labour Organization.
Okay, and a nice little touch here. So yeah, obviously got the laurels, ILO in the middle, an oversized L for labour, which is important, and then you have the gears, which I like.
Cogwheel.
Okay, whatever, cogwheel. Yeah, so you got a cogwheel going around it, like I'm in 3 parts. So yeah, I like that cogwheel is kind of adding something there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been basically the same the entirety of its existence. But that's also some controversy. I dug up some meeting minutes from 2003, which I gave a read through.
God bless you, Simon.
Where
God bless
they
you.
proposed a new logo for the organization, where instead of the cogwheels, it'd be like a shunts signing out. And then their whole reason behind it is, first off, labor nowadays is not represented best by cogwheels. That's really, 1900s kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Now it's, digital, it's, prosperity, et cetera, et cetera.
Call centers.
The other thing, and this is kind of funny to note, considering we're looking at a lot of logos that include letters on it. The letters here are not universal. ILO is that those letters are very Americanized or very anglicized, right? So for a global logo for an international organization, they said remove the letters.
Okay.
Which I see the point, because if you think of like a lot of other organizations have their official working languages, and that's why they have those certain languages. I mean, the ILO is a UN institution.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, I like the African Union logo a bit more personally. I think it has a bit more finesse when it comes together.
Yeah. I think I'm not really too pushy either way. So yeah, if you want to go African Union, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think it's got a nice color scheme.
Yeah, I do like the OD logo.
Yeah.
I think as far as car logos go.
Yeah. Oh god.
Now we have the last of the European institutions, the European Parliament. Do you want to illuminate us on its drastically different design choice here?
So you got a big fat EU flag again, just kind of awkwardly off center, and then the hemicycle. So it's just like concentric rings, like
Yeah.
Saturn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gray. Why is it gray?
Yeah. I think it works. I think if this was on its own and the other ones didn't exist, this makes the most sense in my opinion.
What if the EU flag even would be better? You know?
But then you just have this awkward chunk because the hemicycle this is missing the chunk where the EU flag is, right?
God, I know. See, it's just terrible, just really bad. Yeah, the EU. No, they're not design people. That's for sure. Yeah, the one below is the Red Cross, which is the most basic bitch going, but even that's better.
The whole thinking, the whole philosophy of the Red Cross logo is that supposed to be a universal symbol for like helping people in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of like it's supposed to be very universal, right? That's the whole idea behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to be basic. So I guess that's a compliment you get.
Well, University Christian.
Yes, that's the other controversy. So have you heard of the red diamond?
No, I've heard the Red Crescent.
Yes, the red crescent also exists, but there's also
Yeah.
a red diamond where it's just a diamond in the middle.
Okay.
And that's their attempt to make it completely not religious or politically affiliated.
Okay. But not university recognized at all.
It is one of their official, they can use that.
But it's not university recognized. No one's going to look at the Red Diamond and
Yeah.
go, oh yeah, that's the people who save people. You know?
Red diamond, run to that truck.
The only Red Diamond is the Japanese football team, Red Diamonds. So even that for me is better known Red Diamond than the Red Cross's Red Diamond.
You know what I learned today? This Red Cross logo is the inverse of the Swiss flag. And that was the initial design behind it because the Swiss are neutral.
Damn, that easy, eh?
Yeah.
That easy.
I was like, yeah, I guess it works, you know?
Someone was just sitting there 5 minutes in, boom, they were like,
We're in
easiest
Geneva, flip, voila.
easiest 1,000 Swiss francs ever made.
Yeah.
Parfait.
Which one do we go for?
Come on. Come on. Sorry now, European Parliament. None of the EU ones can get through. It's just, they need to step up their game.
Last two. Last pairing. Yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with both of these. One literally has the name on it.
Yes, one does.
No, both do actually.
Okay.
So for the listeners, the top one.
Wait. Top one is OPEC. Yes. Come on, baby.
Yeah,
I got it.
So it's like a blue flag with 4 circles on it, but each circle is slightly different, and they kind of really vaguely spell out OPEC, and it's a terrible design choice.
So you have a white circle for O, and a white circle kind of a white like stake next to it for P, and then you got 2 little bits taken out of the circle for E, and then 1 bit taken out of the circle for C, just like little bites.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is unusually hip.
It was made in '65.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I was surprised by that too.
That just seems like someone in like San Francisco got their hands on that.
What I think happened is that OPEC was like, we need a logo. We don't care what it is. We're just going to give you some money and do something.
Yeah, that's quite creative. It takes a little bit while to figure out what you're looking at.
Yeah, I will say, I was expecting something a bit clear.
Yeah. But, at the same time, I've been complaining about how boring and straightforward some of these logos are, so I shouldn't diss one for trying to be creative.
Yeah.
So props to OPEC.
So, and about your Chinese and Russian?
About my Chinese and Russian one. Wait. Oh, the first character, I think, means something along the lines of day.
I actually
night.
Was not successful in finding out if the text was actually the name of the organization. So this is the logo of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
Why did you pick this?
It was different. I needed one more to fill out the list.
Okay.
And it happened to be the last one. So it's like the thing that China and Russia set up in 10 years ago, 15 years ago as a security organization. It's like the only time Putin leaves the country to go to their meetings.
I've never heard this in my life.
It's reasonably important on the Russia watching stage.
Yeah, I guess that's not in my area.
They signed up all the countries they have are on the little graphic, which is kind of neat. I like that.
Yeah.
They explicitly excluded like
Mongolia.
Yeah, Mongolia.
Yeah. And also they have Taiwan in there, whether or not Taiwan like it. Yeah. So the top half, it's like it's green. It's got the Chinese on top, Russian on the bottom, little laurels again on the sides, and then they got like in the middle. It's like top half's like blue globe. Yeah. And then you have the member countries, so like there's like Russia and China and a couple of the stands, and then there's like a river kind of thing at the bottom half.
I think it's supposed to be the Belt and Road, like
that would make sense.
Like the flowing,
Indeed.
Spice trails. What do they call them? Yeah.
Inderdat.
I prefer OPEC. I will just say this is the only time I'm going to side with the OPEC organization, which does count as an international institution according to Wikipedia. I threw it in as a fun one.
Good old Wikipedia.
Are you also going to join me in holding hands with the oil overlords?
Yeah, do.
I do think they should design this as like barrels of oil. That's kind of what my first thought was. Anyways, let's continue quickly with the second round of our rankings. You can see who made it all through to the next round. This is quite colorful compared to our usual ones.
Mm-hmm. That's true. We should be proud.
Yes. So first pairing here, the World Wildlife Fund, the panda versus Interpol and their thwarted police action.
I do want to send Interpol true just so I can hear you say sword over and over.
I do think it's like you gotta pronounce the W,
Yes, indeed. It's okay. English isn't your first language, Simon. It's fine. Okay. Is this the point where we talk about pandas and how terrible they are?
If you want, I wasn't planning to bring it up. I thought it was cute.
Like, it's cute, but like ultimately, pandas have a cute premium.
Sure.
Like, they have gotten way more attention than they deserve because of their cuteness. Like, they've been much more useful animals that have gone extinct. And look, I know utilitarianism, we should save all the animals, treat them equally. But the panda doesn't want to live. The panda doesn't want to propagate. It barely wants to shag other pandas. So, like, if the panda is telling us, its biology is telling us, the way it eats bamboo, it's telling us, let us die. Yeah. And the World Wildlife Fund is making this animal, of all animals, its mascot, this animal who clearly does not want to survive. Evolution has told us this is not survival of the fittest. The panda is not going to make it, and yet we persist because it's cute. That's all. You know?
Or you could see it's so reliant on human care to get it through. I also don't like how much it's been weaponized by the Chinese state as like an element of diplomacy.
Also true.
But that's a different story.
Also true. True. So are we?
But I will say it's super iconic. Like
God, it is good though. It is good.
It's the first logo, international institution logo I've known. Because I remember we had this like World Wildlife Almanac that my mom had, and I was 6 years old. I was reading through all the endangered animals, and just that panda is just burned in my head. And it beat the World Wrestling Federation.
We can talk about it in the next round. Yeah.
Ding ding ding. Is it going through then?
Yeah, let's send it through. Sorry, Interpol is a little bit stale next to it.
It does look like a police organization logo at the end of the day.
Yeah. So we can't put the police through. Sorry.
I've realized going on to the next round is ASEAN versus the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
This logo, World Health Organization, is very similar to ITU.
Yeah. I can see some similarities.
Globe with a
and the kind of the framing of it. Yeah. Just WHO's a bit busier.
Yeah. I think Asian's not bad.
Yeah.
Although, like I said, I'm not a fan of the lowercase letters. If they were uppercase, that would make more sense, but...
yeah, maybe the lowercase makes it look a bit more like a knockoff somehow. I'm not sure. But
you know what this looks like? You know how the Fiat one looked... Or not the Fiat one, the... FAO looked like a Fiat logo. This looks like it could be the logo of like some Bulgarian Soviet-era car. That's the first thing I thought when I saw it.
Yeah, I can see that. Ooh, this one's hard. I don't know.
I think World Health is a bit more iconic, but I prefer the colors of ASEAN.
Yeah, ASEAN with the red is doing something different that I think is... There's going to be so many blue logos, you know? Come on. ASEAN, get on through.
Yeah. I think these are just a victim of the UN complex. And there was... And like a small footnote of like the UN organizational structures. They were not happy that their individual departments were getting logos. Because they used to be like, if you get your individual logo, you're taking away from, the united banner of the UN. So they try to push back on, the WHO, the FAO, every of them getting their own logos.
Kind of compartmentalization.
Yeah. Until in the 50s, they kind of went through with it. I think there was a story about the International Atomic Energy Agency where they put out their new logo without telling the UN, and they got super pissed, and they ripped it down, basically. But
jeez. Speaking of which... International Atomic Energy Agency, which is kind of a hard name to say.
I mean, try saying SAARC.
SAARC?
Southeast Sorry, let me consult my notes.
South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation, is that what it is?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
good
cool.
memory.
Yeah.
I prefer the atomic one, IAEA. It sounds like you can scream it.
Yeah, the more I look at SAARC, the more it's creeped me out, to be honest.
The more I keep thinking it's hands holding something like this.
Oh yeah, the kind of thumbs. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
I think it's nice it made it this far, and I think it should have made it this far.
It's your one round, Simon. Jesus.
Yeah, I think it's
it's the underdog story. You got your one round and got beaten. So
by a nuclear bomb or peaceful nuclear energy.
By a chemical gas attack.
Barely, goddamn you.
Yeah, you know what, SAARC. SAARC is kind of it's kind of creeping me out now. Yeah. So yeah.
Let's move on through. Next is World Trade Organization versus the United Nations.
Both lucky to be here, honestly.
Are they? I like the UN one. It's the grandfather of them all, and it's a good one. Seeing how it's been represented in a lot of them.
Yeah, I guess
the map projection, I like it. I think it's a bold choice.
Yeah, it is kind of the OG, so deserves some credit for that. And the WTO
has color.
Yeah, it has color at least.
You can give it that.
Just 6 lines, really.
Sure. Imagine trying to draw those 6 lines. You'd struggle so much to get those curves right.
Just right, yeah. Whereas the UN one is easy. Just got to do the whole map of the world.
Plus, to win you over, I think a sweater with the UN logo on would be much more stylish than a sweater with the WTO logo.
Yeah, I'll accept that. And by that logic, the UN will go through.
Yes. The forebears of style.
Indeedly.
Let me zoom up. I'm too lazy to zoom out. Next pairing, is the League of Nations versus the Food and Agriculture Organization.
I'm still reeling from the 5 races part earlier, so...
5 races versus the 5 types of wheat. I don't know.
Bread. We can all agree on bread, you know?
These are 2 classy logos, though. They both look like they're from the 30s.
Yeah. No, I or like they were both designed by like the agencies in Mad Men.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Kind of where
They're
we're
very
at.
like sharp lines, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think sorry, just the League of Nations origin story is so insane that I can't put it through. The FAO.
Yeah.
I like Fiat Panis, just makes me laugh as a
that's their
motto.
logo, not their. That's their.
It's on the logo. I don't care. It's on the logo, so it's going through.
Oh wow! 2 competing agencies coming up next: the World Bank and the IMF.
Ooh.
They're both lucky to be here. I feel like.
Banga versus Lagarde. Yeah.
Yes.
The World Bank God is, it's pretty crap. IMF. Yeah, I think IMF. Even though it's a slightly confusing logo for what it actually does. Like, both of them are shying away from the fact that they're money-based organizations.
True. They're like,
Nobody wants to be
saving the
associated.
world.
No one wants to be known as the big bank. So like they're like, you know, the peace narrative. We represent the world. But IMF, yeah, sure, why not?
I'll side with it too. I'm not gonna stand up for the World Bank. I don't think their logo deserves it.
You can't.
Yeah.
We will have to do rock paper scissors at some point.
Yeah, maybe not. I feel like this side of the bracket is a bit less strong than the former side.
Yeah,
Given the amount of notes
I think
had to.
I think so.
But a strong round. Here we go. If this one makes it to the end, I think people will be slightly annoyed. But
We're not asking people to draw it at home. Like, it's fine. Enjoy it visually for what it is. If you're watching YouTube, and if you listen to the podcast, Google it and just like come along for the ride.
Or just watch the YouTube. You know, give me an extra view. Those translate one day into
do both.
Something special. You know, like, subscribe. I always forget to ask for that because I don't like to beg. But
I don't like to beg either, so I won't.
Well, I will be begging to put through this turkey of a logo.
Oh, it's got to be the turkey.
Yeah.
Which doesn't feature turkey. Yeah. Sorry, African Union. But you came up against a very strong opponent.
Next up, the saviors of the world, OPEC versus the Red Cross.
Those troublemakers in Geneva.
Yeah.
I think OPEC is more visually interesting.
I think it's only visually interesting if you know what it means. I think Red Cross it's classy in a sense. It's really...
OPEC is like a fun puzzle to solve. That's how I see it. like I had those moments where I was like, what am I looking at? And then you kind of nudged me and I was like, oh my god, it's OPEC.
Yeah, I didn't realize what this was until after I created the whole like sheet here. It took me longer than you.
What does that say? You know, my analytical mind works at a rapid pace.
I'm gonna side with the Red Cross. I will do rock paper scissors for this one. I
knew it was gonna happen. I knew it was gonna happen at least once. So yeah, let's go. So we're doing rock paper scissors.
Rock paper oil. You know.
Okay, so
rock sword.
Yeah. rock paper scissors shoot. There we go. Scissors beats paper, which means OPEC
Save
goes
me,
through.
Red Cross.
Yeah.
I'm wounded.
Okay, so now we're in the quarterfinals. Yes, quarterfinals.
Yeah. We're starting off World Wildlife Fund versus ASEAN.
Yes, so quite famously, as something we haven't really addressed it fully, just kind of referenced it. The World Wildlife Fund sued the World Wrestling Federation back in the late 90s, and successfully got the WWF, the wrestling company, to change its name to WWE, so World Wrestling Entertainment.
And they kept their panda logo.
And WWF kept panda logo. WWE had a campaign called Get the F Out, which was their branding campaign.
The WWE or the WWF?
WWE.
That's kind of aggressive for...
So, their campaign, when they changed the WWE to like, this is our new logo now, we're called the WWE, their campaign was called Get the F Out, so they're getting rid of the F.
I thought it was an attack campaign.
No, they weren't doing an attack campaign, the World Wildlife Fund.
I was like, that's
no. The funniest thing, though, is that there's like, in the official like history of WWE documentary, they claim that they were always planning to change the logo, and they did not
I've read that too,
They
yeah.
did not mention this court case.
That's some real CEO.
They've whitewashed their history in recent years. It's Vince McMahon kind of move. But so that's the fun story of the two competing WWFs. And it's going to go through again.
Yeah, I mean, you place a beer versus some some bamboo. Who's gonna win?
It's eating those rice shoots.
Yeah,
Can be stopped, little guy.
Also,
little
I remember how I mentioned this is based on the colors of the flags. I kept thinking for a flag that doesn't fit this color scheme, so that was my whole thing thinking about it. Okay, next up, the United Nations versus the International Atomic Energy Agency.
Okay, obviously.
Who did it best?
Yeah, both doing the laurels, same.
I will say the atomic model nowadays is outdated.
Okay.
So technically, I mean, it's a good symbol of atomic energy, but scientifically speaking, you'd have to represent it a bit differently.
It's a logo though. It's fine. If we actually want to represent things scientifically accurately, like no logo, it's like a map projection.
Yeah,
it's all a little bit of a fantasy, and that's fine. I think the atomic energy. I think it's still strong.
I would put it through too.
Compared to the UN.
I didn't realize how good this was until I started reading about it, and I'm like, this looks pretty sick.
Yeah, it's kind of grown on you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got our first semifinal set, and then we're now second half the quarterfinals.
I think this one will go pretty easy. Food and Agriculture Organization versus the International Monetary Fund.
I think the confusing messaging of the IMF logo has finally caught up with it.
I don't think it should have gone this far in the first place, the IMF.
It had a couple of dodgy opponents.
I think it's got very lucky to get this far.
Yeah, it's got an easy draw, but FAO and the Fiat Panis, cousin of the Fiat Punto, is through to the semifinals.
Last pairing, OAS, the consumers of the oil, versus OPEC, the providers.
Come on. Look at OAS.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go.
Look at it, it's going off.
I'm just doing my little transition.
It's going crazy out here. OPEC.
Yeah. I was against this with proceeding in the first place. It's colorful. It brings something new to the table. It has 10 flagpoles for 35 flags, which is an accomplishment. If you count these up.
That's way more than 10.
Yeah. No, in the bottom. If you zoom in, it's only 10 of these.
Oh, okay, right.
Which it breaks the laws of physics. So our quarterfinals, the last four standing, the World Wildlife Fund, the International Atomic Energy.
Semifinals.
It's not quarterfinals. Oh, semifinals. Apologies. It's getting late in the day. It's been a long day at work. As I said, Tuesday night.
Take two.
So the World Wildlife Fund versus the International Atomic Energy Agency, and the other side of brackets, the Food and Agriculture Organization versus the Organization of American States.
Yes.
So, World Wildlife Fund versus IAEA. IAEA.
IAEA. Old MacDonald had a farm. IAEA. IAEA. God, it's the panda, isn't it? I went to this whole panda rant earlier, and I feel now it just keeps looking at me. It keeps gazing to my soul.
It does stare at you a bit.
Chi-Chi has hypnotized me, like the toad in Futurama, and
I do think that we need to bring back, World Wildlife Fund merch. I would wear, a World Wildlife Fund t-shirt. It's classy. It's such a classic logo.
They need the money.
It reminds me of something my mother would wear in the 70s. She was born in the 70s, but I would imagine, my parents would be cool and wear. I guess they wouldn't be cool. No offense to you, but I imagine it's retro.
He's completely got it back on everything he said there in the space of about 10 seconds.
What I'm trying to say, I love a good retro WWF t-shirt. Not the wrestling one.
Yeah, kind of with black sleeves and a white.
Or just any color, just a green, solid orange, solid red with a good WWF logo.
Yeah, I think it's WWF.
Atomic Energy Agency, I wish it got a bit further. I mean, it got pretty far.
I think it's a little bit too busy, though. That one extra electron is causing an issue.
Yeah, either it's, beryllium or a neutral hydrogen bomb.
Yeah. Okay, so second semi.
Second semi, it's the Food and Agriculture Organization versus the OAS, the Organization of American States.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna... It's gotta be the busy colors.
It's gotta be done. It's absolutely insane. and that's why we love it so much.
It's just so I don't know.
Yeah, the FAO is still the FAO is still adhering to a lot of traditional logo design rules.
And if you've watched these videos, you know we're not traditional design oriented people.
No, we are not. We have
Cyprus.
We have upset many people with our takes.
Yeah.
But this is why we're friends, because we can both appreciate these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Cypriot images here.
No. Thankfully, yeah, we're not over promoting Cyprus again. And so this is the final.
The final World Wildlife Fund versus the Organization of American States.
Yeah.
One animal versus many. I'm sure there's some animals on these flags.
Yeah, Mexico flag has an eagle on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example.
One day we should do a bracket of American flags.
Yeah, that'd be fun. There's been more variety there.
I mean, there's 35 in this thing. So
yeah, alone. Yeah.
we got to cut two. 2 or 3.
But yeah, okay. See, the WWF is like an iconic logo that, like yourself, like you said, like known it for many years, and it's great. The OAS though, it's almost like you're meeting someone on a night out, and you're like, I have never spoken to this person before an hour ago, and now I'm like, how have you not been in my life before?
Yeah.
I want to know everything about you. I've heard of the OAS, but its logo was a mystery to me.
I just want to know how they designed it, because I think at the end it was like, they're like, no, this is perfect.
This is it.
It's not too busy. No, I want every flag on there.
Oh, but like the colors, like the ASEAN. No. Every flag on there, just a little sliver of it.
You know, the original design was probably just a big banner of all of them patched together, and they're like, no, that's too much. Let's make it 3D.
Yeah, and just like the flag pose as well, like it almost looks like a things like a Maasai shield.
It looks like I could go to war of this. You know, if somebody's attacking me, I'll pick up one of those flags. You know? A roster of
I have the power of anime and the Organization of American States.
Okay, we have 3 minutes left before our recording session ends.
Yeah.
Here. What's our final choice going to be? I don't want to pick either of these almost. I think OAS is a bit too busy, a bit too much, a bit too funny. You know.
Come on.
WWF it's classy. It's probably the right choice.
Come on. Come with me.
You
Come with me on this journey, Simon. Come with me on this journey, please.
I mean, I will say this is the only one that has the Canadian flag in it.
Yeah. And remember all that stuff you said about Vimy? Come on, you love your country.
Vimy Rids, yeah. I'm sure Pandas fought there.
Yes.
I think we'll take the OAS and make them our final.
My skepticism towards pandas finally won out over the cuteness of the animal.
I guess so. I'm sure this is not going to be a popular choice. Oh yes.
We like what we like, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, like make your own podcast, actually don't, because we don't want competitors.
Oh no, competition's good. You know, the rising tide is.
But no, please go into the comments of the YouTube video if you're watching, and let us know what you would have picked. And please tell me your thoughts on pandas. Yeah. I'm curious.
And if anybody who is affiliated with the OAS is listening, I would love to do, a one-on-one podcast, just explain the rationale of this flag, the design choices, the design, the issues you have when you update them, why they're in the order they are in, because this is not alphabetical, and I assume they didn't all join in this order. So, I don't know.
So many questions. Yeah. So yeah, OAS, hit us up.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think this is a great start to the year.
Yeah, of course. And if you want to listen to us more for the year, please drop a subscription. I'll be doing a few more podcasts where we do rankings like this with Dan, but I'll also do a few more other, more panel style podcasts. I'm going to do a few more, podcasts without video, just on a few issues. I think I'm going to do one on the housing crisis, some youth issues. I was talking to somebody about a different topic as well. So yeah, please let me know. If you want to come on, please let me know as well. I think that wraps it up. Thank you again for coming on, Dan. It's been a great journey.
Thanks for the invitation. Had a lot of fun. So I look forward to the next adventure.
Yes. Well, till next time then.
Slán.